Danganronpa.
To die for some woman? If I'm gonna go down, I want it to be for killing Master!
Go on! So you gotta kill Byakuya. When's this gonna happen? When's the due date? Please tell me, do you need an accomplice? I'd be more than happy to help you.
Just go away and die your meaningless death alone. Don't drag me into it.
Oh, too late. She's got her eyes on you, buddy. I'll make sure you have a lovely funeral. Don't worry. We'll all be crying. Tears of joy.
But I just can't catch a break, you know? Fate's got it out for me. Because normally, Sakura should have been able to dodge my attack, no problem.
Normally?
Even as strong as she is, she must have still been reeling from Hiro's attack.
Yeah, I mean, a bump to the head still can make anyone queasy.
Hey, come on. That's, you know.
What?
But anyway, I'm not the one that killed Ogre. So that's good.
She's still dead, you idiot! So that's good. Keep talking like that, and Hina's gonna...
Well then, that's that. Let's start the vote.
I think for sure she had some work. Yeah, I would've thought she was ready to smack him.
What's wrong? Come on, everyone, we're ready to vote, right? Let's do this.
No, not quite yet.
What do you mean?
Huh? Not yet? Why not yet?
Well, there's still the whole point of the footprints and the yellow powder. And it was on Sakura's feet.
Don't you think there was something odd about Toko's story? I mean, you had to have noticed.
Yeah, if she had killed Sakura, then she'd be dead at the magazines, not sitting down. The way that she was positioned makes sense for Hiro's attempted murder, but the way Toku says it's not making sense the way...
Odd. Huh?
There was blood splatter, but there wasn't a body next to the magazines.
Hiro's attack, and then Toko's, but that still wasn't the end of it.
I think Byakuya's on the right track.
Tell us your story one more time. Tell us what happened after you fainted. Then even this gaggle of idiots should understand what I'm talking about.
Your wish is my command, darling.
That creeps me every time. Ugh. It's not over yet? Is it? The one who killed Sakura is... yellow powder.
I was just sleeping peacefully. And all of a sudden, Sakura was right there in front of me. I remember waking up right in front of the magazine shelf.
You were taken by surprise when you saw Ogre covered in blood. So you smashed her head in with the Monokuma bottle?
You got it! I smashed her good!
And where did the attack take place?
Right where I woke up! I killed her there in front of the shelf!
then her body was found sitting down, so...
I was just sleeping peacefully, and all of a sudden, Sakura was right there in front of me.
Sakura,
I
yeah,
remember
Sakura's
waking
body.
up right in front of the magazine.
You were taken by so you smashed her.
You got it!
And where did the attack take place?
Right where I woke up. I killed her there in front of the show.
No, that's wrong.
That's not where we found the body, though.
We found Sakura sitting upright in a chair. If the blow by the shelf was the cause of death, there's no explanation why she was in that chair.
Exactly.
So, you finally noticed.
It makes sense for the way Hiro says it, but not the way that Toku says it.
That's just another lie from a bloodthirsty serial killer.
She's a lot of things, but she doesn't
You
lie.
sure you didn't attack her while she was sitting in the chair?
No, I'm sure she's telling the truth. Anyone who saw the murder scene should think the same way.
Yeah, there was blood covered on where the magazines were. That's...
I got it! Sakura was definitely attacked in front of the shelf. The blood stain by the magazines is proof of that.
Then she must have moved the body after she killed her, right?
Again, it's Toku. It's like trying to move Hifumi's body. It's near impossible. Alright, Sakura's built like a body, like a freaking truck, so lifting that's gotta be hard.
All to make it look like I did it. Because when I hit her, she was sitting in the chair.
Hey, come on now, look at me. I can't carry anything heavier than my own scissors.
Exactly.
There's no way I could move a muscle-bound heavyweight like that.
Then what's the deal?
She wasn't dead.
Well, are you still convinced the case has come to an end?
But...
Plus, the biggest mystery of all, the locked room, still has yet to be explained.
How the hell do you lock something on the inside?
Until we take care of that, we can't say this case has been properly settled.
Oh, that part's easy. After she killed Sakura, Toko just hid in the locker again.
But the locker was open when we saw her.
So she just hid in there till everyone showed up and opened the door?
No. Because we saw the locker, it was wide open.
And while everything was all confused and hectic, she just snuck out of the locker into the group.
No, I don't think that's possible.
I saw it myself. The locker was too small. The locker, it was in the locker room. I saw it myself.
I got it! Even before we opened the door to the rec room, Hina and I both got a look inside. And at that point, the locker was already open. So obviously Toko couldn't have been hiding in there.
Okay then, where was she hiding?
I don't know. What's this whole locked room thing about anyway?
Alright, she wasn't...
How do you not know? You killed her!
I think the fact that I don't know proves I didn't kill her. Thank you very much.
It kinda does.
You're lying.
No, she's not. I've been saying all along, there's still more to this case.
But if Genocide Jill didn't do it, that means Ogre didn't die from the shot to the head.
Yeah, 2 shots to the head!
And
Well, I can't imagine what else could have killed her.
that's because you're overlooking vital information.
Yellow powder. Monocumophile,
What was it that killed Ogre? If it wasn't from Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it?
There's no other possible cause. What killed Sakura? I can't think of anything other than the shot to her head.
that yellow powder, or cannot.
Shoot!
Shoot!
What was it that killed Ogre?
Was
If
it
it wasn't
maybe
from Genocide Jill's attack, then what was it?
There's no other pop that killed Sakura. I can't think of anything other than the shot to her head.
There we go,
No,
the file says
wrong.
something else. If it was a blow to the head, then the Monokuma file was
According
said
to
blow
the
to the head.
Monokuma file, Sakura had vomited blood. I think we can assume there's a chance this was related to her cause of death. In fact, there was even a trace of blood left around her mouth.
Well, I mean, maybe when she got hit with the bottles, she cut the inside of her mouth.
How? Did she eat it?
If that's all it was, the file wouldn't have specified vomited blood.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I didn't find any cuts inside her mouth.
Yeah, she's the girl that looks at dead bodies for a
You
hobby.
even checked in there? God, you really are into dead bodies!
No, I'm not into dead bodies. What I'm into is solving mysteries.
But if there wasn't a cut or anything, then what made her vomit blood?
Maybe she drank something. We found yellow powder. Sakura's on about. You can't get it. Oh my. Was it suicide? This. No. In that case, then we would have found poison there, but then.
Some sort of reaction within her body. Most likely, Sakura was poisoned.
Then make someone poison her energy drink.
Poison?
That's right. This is the conclusion I've arrived at, and so there can be no mistake.
You're making me go all weak in the knees!
Ugh. I don't need to know what makes you go weak in the
She
knees.
was poisoned? It isn't possible!
If anything, that makes more possible sense than a blow to the head. She was built like a freaking bodybuilder. If she got hit to the head and she still took 2 of those, she'd be. I think. Look, if she could take 2 hits to the head, that's okay. But if she got poisoned, then that makes sense because it's an inside battle that she can't fight.
Is it really so hard to believe? Then let me explain exactly how the culprit was able to poison her.
You can explain it?
Her energy drink.
Of course, if you don't mind.
Everyone quiet! Shut up and listen to Master!
Ugh.
But you're the only one talking.
The key to unlocking this mystery was hiding in the chem lab up on the 4th floor.
Yeah, but we saw Sakura's footprints. I mean, we look at her feet, we see that the yellow powder's on her foot. I don't.
Huh? Not in the rec room? Then I could have found it all along.
You never would have, since you gave up on the search the moment you were barred from the crime scene.
Well, yeah, good point.
There's a big shelving unit in the chem lab that houses a variety of mixtures and chemicals.
Poisons, chemicals, and energy drinks.
And that's where I found this.
C9. Toxic.
Is that the poison?
It's not an especially powerful poison, but it'll still kill you if you drink an entire bottle.
An entire. Oh,
But
God.
the specific properties don't matter. What does matter is where I found it.
Where'd you find
Where'd
it?
you find it?
The shelf is divided up into 3 sections, A, B, and C.
C holds all the toxic stuff, A holds all the good stuff, and B was basically like a middle
In
ground.
section A, dietary supplements. In B,
Yeah.
reagents. And in C, a variety of lethal chemicals.
And that's where the poison came from? Section C?
No, we found it in section A.
Well, that's the question, isn't it?
It was in the wrong shelf. I remember seeing those images.
I got it! The poison was actually in Section A, wasn't it?
Huh? You just said that Section A was for supplements or whatever.
Yeah.
Strange, isn't it? Why would there be a bottle of poison mixed in with all those nutritional additives?
Yeah, so? Why?
Because the culprit switched it out. That's why.
Okay, but who switched it?
What do you mean?
That energy drink looked weird. And the bottle's empty, so could that mean that that bottle was that? So I may be right. Sakura might commit suicide. But that's the question. Who switched the bottle out then? Because I'm so confused.
I mean, this.
What are you doing? I can't believe my eyes. Bianca put down the poison in his. Oh my.
Master!
Jesus Christ, man.
Ugh, that tastes awful.
Well, no shit. What?
Oh no! Master's in real trouble! You have to drink some water! You can't just swallow powder! It'll stick to your throat!
Idiot! He just swallowed poison! We need to make him spit it out!
The flavor certainly makes me want to spit it out. What's so high quality about this stuff?
Huh? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about the protein, of course.
So wait, that's not poison, it's protein?
Protein?
Can I see that bottle for a second?
Sure. Do whatever you like.
It's protein powder.
But why is it in a toxic bottle?
Correct. That wasn't poison in the bottle, but harmless protein powder. Which makes one wonder, the poison that should have been in that bottle, where did it go?
Her protein, that drink, okay. Oh god, here we go with another one. I don't even know how to say this. Drink? So I need an E. I need an E, I think? I'm guessing here. Come on, give me an E! Or an N, that'll work.
Now I understand. The poison must have been poured into the protein can. If the protein's in the poison bottle, it seems only logical to assume the reverse is true, right?
Right, so who could have poisoned her?
Absolutely. The contents of each container were switched. So the protein was in the bottle of poison, and the poison was in the protein can.
Okay.
Once you accept that, it becomes obvious how the culprit was able to get Sakura to drink the poison.
Holy crap!
All they had to do was hand her something there at the scene, and she was happy to drink the poison herself.
So, the monochrome bottle, a protein drink.
I got it! You're saying they gave her a protein drink, right?
Hina?
A protein drink which actually contained a deadly poison.
The only people that knew about that were me, Sakura, and Hina. Did Hina do it?
What?
That's all it took to kill Sakura. That is the true cause of death.
You know, I do remember Ogre saying that protein stuff was good for all kinds of aches and pains. So maybe she took it to try and help with the whole bleeding head wound thing.
But what was offered to her instead was a bottle full of poison. And I already know exactly who swapped the mixtures.
For real? Who was it?
Is he gonna do a Hina?
Evidence revealing who replaced the two materials was left in the chem lab for anyone to see.
No! If he's thinking Hina, that's, I mean, footprints. I mean, the powder.
I got it! The footprints left behind in front of the shelf. That's the evidence you're talking about, isn't it?
I visited the chem lab this morning, and there were definitely no footprints there at that point. They must have appeared around the time of the murder, which leaves no doubt that they're connected. What's more, the footprints were in front of Section A, where I found the bottle meant for the poison.
Right.
The culprit must have gone to Section A to swap the poison and protein, leaving their footprints behind.
Right.
And given how clear the prints were, figuring out who they belong to will pose no problem. All we have to do is check everyone's footprints right now. Then we'll see who...
It was me.
What?
The footprints. They're mine.
Hina?
Hina?
If you're all gonna find out anyway, I'd rather you hear it straight from me, you know?
But wait, we found the powder on Sakura's feet.
Then Ogre's killer was...
I don't think it's Hina. There's no way she would have killed her best friend. Would she?
Yep. I did it. I killed Sakura.
What?
Just as I suspected. The footprints were made by a pair of sneakers. There was no mistaking it. And the only people here who wear sneakers are...
Makoto and Hina.
I got it! Me and Hina are the only ones. Oh, so Byakuya. That explains why you...
That explains why you wanted to see my feet. Makoto, are you there? They're yours. No! Okay, then let me see yours. Yeah!
If the footprints didn't belong to Makoto, that left only one other possibility.
Just Hina.
But we found the powder on Sakura's foot. Unless Hina switched them out.
Plus, Hina's been acting strange ever since the trial began.
That is
You
true.
were in an awful rush to get to the vote, weren't you? This whole time, you've been focused on pinning the crime on someone else, haven't you?
I can't believe it.
What about it can't you believe?
Well, it's just... the two of them were so close.
Yeah, they were like best buds.
That's likely exactly why it turned out this way. Because they were so close, Sakura didn't think twice about it when Hina handed her the concoction.
True.
Hina used that trust to kill her.
But then that leads but it doesn't explain the powder on Sakura's feet. And it does explain how the room was locked.
She deceived the victim, and she tried to deceive all of us.
Hina did find the body first.
I have to say, Hina, coming from you, this was a particularly nasty little scheme.
Hina, is it true? Did you really kill Sakura? And if you did, why? Why would you do that?
I found her. There in the rec room. She was hurt. She asked me to bring her that protein drink. But when I went to get the powder from the chem lab, it just occurred to me all of a sudden.
Now's my chance to kill her. That's what you thought, right? That's when you switched out the protein powder, and that's when you gave her the poisoned mixture.
And then she downed it all at once. And then...
Hold it. I'm not convinced.
Yeah. For one, I don't see Hina doing something that nasty to her best friend. Two, the way we found that protein bottle, it literally should have been next to her, but when we found it, it was literally lying on top of glass. Glass that we broke. It should have been around it, but it was on top of the glass.
You're not about to claim she wouldn't kill a close friend, are you? You still don't get it, do you? The game we're playing here isn't so kind. Honeyed words like friendship don't matter here. What matters is outwitting the opponent, defeating them. Not a person alive would sacrifice themselves for another. In the end, we're all in it for ourselves. Just like how this girl sacrificed Sakura to save herself.
You say that, but I'm still not convinced.
How many times do you plan to repeat yourself?
Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying it because of some misguided sentimentalism. But there's still that one unsolved mystery, and I'm not convinced.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the locked room problem?
Yeah, that is a big question. How the hell did you lock a room if you can't get out?
If you really are the killer, explain it. How did you create that locked room?
Well, that doesn't matter. Just because I'm guilty, that means I have to tell you everything?
Yes.
No, it doesn't. But the fact that you won't tell us concerns me.
Well, that too.
Surely you're not... Do you honestly think Hina didn't actually kill her?
And if I do?
Impossible. She switched out the mixtures. She's the culprit. There's no way you can doubt this.
Are you sure about that? Even ignoring the fact that I don't want to believe it, it just doesn't fit.
What doesn't fit?
Several things don't make sense,
I mean,
though.
Why would someone leave such a clear clue like a footprint?
Yeah.
It's too obvious.
Easy.
Too easy.
He's right. It makes it look like you wanted people to suspect you.
That was... I was just nervous. So, I didn't notice I'd left a footprint.
You didn't notice?
Yeah, that's just how it was.
Then
What
if
can
you
I
didn't
do?
notice, let's see your feet then. Let's see your shoes.
Listen, Hina. Could you go into a bit more detail? Tell us more about when you switched the poison and the protein.
How come? That doesn't matter.
Hina, please. I'd like to know too.
Fine.
Waste your time if you like. It's clear that Hina is the culprit.
Is
There's
she?
nobody else to suspect. Nobody else could have possibly done it.
Go ahead, Hina. Start from the moment you arrived at the chem lab.
Well, right away I went to Section C and got the poison.
Right. Then why weren't there footprints at Section C?
And is that when you spilled the powder in front of that part of the shelf?
Yeah. When I opened the bottle, I dropped it like an idiot.
Then why didn't you clean up or dodge the dust so you wouldn't make footprints?
I see. Okay then, go on.
So then I moved to Section A and got the protein powder, and that's where I switched them. Once I was done with that, I took the protein can that had the poison in it and left the room. But I accidentally put the bottle filled with protein powder back on the wrong shelf. And because of that, everything I did got found out.
That story you just told. First you went to Section C to get the poison. Then moved to Section A to get the protein, right?
Then why aren't there footprints at Section C?
Meaning you went from Section C to Section A. Do I...
Yeah.
Can you repeat that series of events one more time?
One more,
Wrong with you,
please.
Big Mac? You're being awfully pushy.
Now I want McDonald's. Damn you, genocide!
It's the same thing no matter how many times you hear it. How long until you're satisfied?
Okay, we got... Oh, good. Goody.
First I went to Section C.
Right.
That's when I grabbed the poison.
Grab the
And you
poison.
spilled some of the powder on the ground in front of the shelf.
Yeah. When I grabbed the bottle, I dropped it.
Okay, and then?
I moved from section C to section A.
Why are the
And
footprints?
that's where I
Oh,
switched
son of
the
a...
powders. Once I was done switching them, I put the bottle filled with the protein powder back in section A. Then I took the bottle with the poison in it and left the chem lab. That's all there is to it.
Honestly, that's enough. How much longer must we tolerate this?
Much longer.
First I went to that's when I grabbed the and you spilled some of the yeah. Okay, and then I moved from section C.
Why aren't there footprints?
wrong. You said you went to get the poison from section C, and that's where you spilled the powder, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah? What about it?
Footprints!
And after that, you said you moved from section C to section A to get the protein. But the footprints left at the scene were not moving from section C to section A.
They went straight to A.
That contradicts what you just said.
Then maybe she moved in some weird direction on purpose to disguise her movements?
No, that can't be it. Remember what Hina just said?
Caught ya!
What the? Hina, what's the meaning of this?
She tricked you. She tricked all of us.
Well,
I think my theory was right. I think Sakura committed suicide and Hina's trying to protect her from
You
that.
lied to us. Plain and simple. If you look at the footprints, your movements in the chem lab are obvious. The powder had already been spilled when you came in, and you went straight to section A.
Yeah.
So you never went to section C. Whatever you did there, it only involved section A.
well, you see...
What the?
Bianca's lost for words. Oh my god, I thought I'd never see the day.
What the hell? What's going on here?
And the footprints aren't the only problem with her account.
What?
Before I explain that part, I'd like to submit some new evidence.
New evidence? Impossible, there can't be.
Oh, there is.
Are you sure? After all, you're the one that gave it to me.
I did?
It was hidden inside the bottle of poison you gave me. I'm amazed you, of all people, would miss such a vital clue. A truly grave oversight.
Just say it already! What is it you think you found?
I found this.
A piece of glass.
It had sunk to the bottom of the bottle. And the hidden clue was exposed, thanks to you ingesting the powder. I couldn't have solved the mystery without you. So, thank you for that.
But what is it?
Oh, you still don't realize? Well then. Makoto, why don't you explain it?
Why do I?
Huh? Me?
Me?
Fine. If you really do know, explain the meaning of that shard of glass.
Blue glass Kyoko found in the... Okay. I think I remember it. The rec room... The rec room window!
Got it!
It's part of the window from the rec room door, right?
The window?
So someone switched them out! Oh my god, it was a suicide! Oh, okay, so this makes sense. So, wait, who took the poison then? Because if you found the vial of poison with the bit of glass in it, someone should have taken it and put it back. I figured it out. I figured it out. And I know who planted that. Byakuya was right, but he was wrong about the person being the killer. Hina was the only one that left the room to get the others. She was seen... Oh my god, that makes so much sense!
The window we broke to get in was light blue, just like that. So I think that must be it.
You're right. It must be. Of course, that leads to another question. How did a shard of glass from the window get inside this bottle of poison?
What's so strange about that?
Very strange.
What's strange is that, according to what Hina told us,
the rec room was locked. Shelf of side A, no, the wrong one. Okay, so rec room was locked.
what's strange...
Then
A
A.
gun!
There we go.
The bottle of poison was left on the shelf in the chem lab. That is what you said, right, Hina? And yet, somehow a piece of glass from the rec room window made its way
Got
into
inside.
the bottle.
Everything Hina told us was a lie?
Yeah.
In reality, that bottle of poison most definitely found its way to the rec room. It was there at least until the window got broken. In other words, when the locked room was unlocked. There's no other way to explain the presence of that glass in that bottle.
And then, once the room was opened, the bottle somehow got moved back to the shelf in the chem lab. Meanwhile, the protein can we found at the crime scene was planted there. That had to be after the locked room was opened. In other words, after Sakura died.
Suicide. Oh my god, I'm good.
Hold on, you're moving too fast.
You're just too slow.
I'll grant you, the bottle of poison may well have been in the rec room when it was locked. But how can you say the protein can was put there after the room was unlocked?
Because someone saw it.
We already know she was given the protein can with the poison inside, right?
Do we?
If that can wasn't there when she died, how did she get poisoned?
You're right. We do need to explain that. But before we do, there's something I'd like to confirm with everyone here.
Huh?
It has to do with the protein can. After Sakura's body was discovered, did anyone move it or trip over it or anything like that?
Because it's over the glass.
What are you talking about? Is this some kind of loaded question?
Not at all. Just answer to the best of your ability.
Well, no, not that I remember.
Yeah, me either.
Not me.
Same here.
Yeah, me either.
Lies!
Okay then, that settles it. That proves that the protein can found its way to the murder scene after the room was opened.
Oh, come on! How can you say that? How can you know what I don't know?
Because she's better than you. Oh, God.
When it comes to that protein can, there's not a doubt in my mind. Until the locked room was unlocked, it absolutely was not in there.
So you're saying someone planted it there after we got the door open?
No.
Yeah?
No, that's impossible.
Is it?
It had to have been in there the whole time. It had to be. It was in there before the rec room was unlocked.
It's definitely got Byakuya, so that's where we're
When
going.
it comes to that protein can,
Ingest poison
there's not
drink.
a doubt in my mind. Until the
Yeah.
locked room was unlocked.
It absolutely...
So someone planted it there after...
No. No, that's impossible. It had to have been in there the whole time. It had to be. It was in there before the rec room was unlocked.
Boom!
No, that's wrong. You remember how there was broken glass scattered all around the room, right?
Yeah?
Of course. It came from the window you broke to get in. What about it?
Well, those pieces weren't just scattered around the protein can.
They were underneath the protein can.
He also found pieces underneath the can.
What?
And this proves it. It shows that the can must have been put down on the floor after the window was broken. So it had to be after we got into the room.
I see. So that's your explanation. Kyoko, earlier when you asked if anyone had moved the can or tripped over it,
If that were the case, that would explain the can being on top of the glass.
So you asked everyone about it to eliminate that possibility right out of the gate.
And that's made everything clear, hasn't it?
Very.
As long as it was a locked room, it only contained the bottle of poison, and not the protein can. But once the room was opened up, they were switched, and as a result, the protein can wound up in the rec room, and the bottle of poison returned to the chem lab.
if that's all true, then why did Sakura drink the poison?
Suicide. She was an honorable person, and there's been stories that samurais commit suicide for honor, so she seems like the type that would do something like
I
that
thought we
for
all
honor.
agreed she was tricked into drinking it because of the protein can.
No, that's not why. The only explanation is she drank it from its original bottle, knowing exactly what it was.
Precisely. She was alone in a locked room. All she had was the poison. What other possibility is there?
You're saying she drank it knowing what it was? Such a ridiculous fiction is...
Exactly what happened.
I love it when Byakuya doesn't have the answers. It's fun.
Then tell us already. Sorry. Please, tell us.
Oh my Screenshot! We have finally heard him say sorry and please for the first time ever. My god, this is... He's broken. That's how you know he's broken.
Before we get to that, we need to clarify one other thing. We need to establish who exactly got the poison from the chem lab and took it to the rec room.
It was Hina, right? She took it and gave it to Ogre.
What do you think, Makoto?
I think Sakura went and got it herself. That explains the powder on her shoes.
I got it! I think it was Sakura herself.
Huh? So Sakura, who was apparently murdered, just poisoned herself? What are you talking about? There's no way!
On the contrary, we know for a fact she went to the chem lab, right to the section full of poisons.
Yep.
You're lying! Stop lying! Why? Why would you lie like that?
Hina, it's over. Oh boy. And now we're doing it against Hina now. Great.
You're a liar! What are you saying? Wrong! You're wrong! I'm telling you, I did it! Stop talking! You're a liar! Wrong! You're wrong! Wrong! You're wrong! I hate you! You're a liar! What are you saying? Wrong! You're wrong! I'm telling you, I did it! Stop talking! You're a liar! Wrong! You're wrong! Wrong! You're wrong! I hate you!
Uh-huh.
Do you have any kind of proof, Sakura?
This should prove it.
Yell powder on her foot.
Hina, did you know that Sakura's foot had a certain yellow powder stuck to it?
No rebuttal?
It did?
It did. The same yellow powder that had been spilled by the shelf in the chem lab. That powder was yellow, wasn't it?
Yeah, it is. Very yellow. More of a tinge of green, but very yellow.
So the powder we found on Sakura, what else could it be but the powder from the chem lab?
And she wears sneakers too.
Wait. So, what was that powder doing on Ogre's foot?
And it was only on her instep, right?
Sakura must have been standing right there where the powder was spilled. So the person who spilled the powder by the shelf wasn't Hina, but
It was
Sakura.
Sakura.
And when Sakura dropped the bottle, she dropped it away from where she was actually standing. Which is how she was able to avoid getting it all over herself. But the powder still got scattered around, and some of it must have wound up on her instep. Is there any problem with my thinking?
But why did Sakura pay a visit to Section C in the first place? The only explanation is that she was looking for poison. After all, that's all that section contained.
No! It was me! The poison! Because I killed her!
No, you didn't kill her.
Is it time to make the manga panels happen? She
Here's
killed
my
herself.
answer. The one who killed Sakura was Sakura herself.
What? The killer was Sakura?
Wait, so you're saying it was suicide?
I don't believe it. I don't believe it any more than I believe I can fly.
I can't believe it either. Or rather, I don't want to believe it. But when you really think about it, everything matches up.
It does. Even I made it up like minutes before everyone else picked it together.
Sakura went and got the poison. She barricaded herself in a room, and she drank it.
Every last drop, or grain in case, because it was powder.
All so she could end her own life. And that explains why we couldn't solve the mystery of the locked room.
Sakura went to end the...
I got it! The locked room mystery was created by Sakura.
I'm sure she locked herself in so nobody could stop her from doing what she did. She sat there, drank the poison, and breathed her last breath. And the empty bottle of poison rolled around the locked room until we came and opened it.
Yep.
At that point, someone grabbed the bottle and snuck it out of the room. And that was you, wasn't it, Hina?
She found the body. She was the first to go out and get the others.
You did it to throw off the investigation, didn't you? When we found her body, you stayed right there near the door.
Yep.
Because you already knew Sakura was dead. And because the bottle of poison had rolled near the doorway.
That's when you picked up the bottle, right? I was too shocked to notice anything, and Kyoko was busy checking the body.
And the more I think about it, the more I realize how unusual your actions were.
I had to go get them. I had to go get the others. That makes sense as well.
You said you were going to go get everyone else. But your real intention was to go to the chem lab and switch out the containers, wasn't it? Once you were at the chem lab, you headed straight to the section where the protein powder was kept. There, you took the powder and poured it into the bottle of poison you'd grabbed from the rec room. When you left the lab, all you had was the empty protein can. Thinking about it like that, the footprints make perfect sense.
When you were done, you gathered everyone together. And once you were back in the rec room,
She planned it.
while everyone else was focused on Sakura, you quietly placed the can on the ground. Honestly, I should have noticed. You should have been the first one to run up to Sakura's lifeless body.
Yeah.
The Hina I know never would have left her side in a situation like that.
So, Sakura committed suicide. In order to hide this fact, Hina undertook a series of actions to undermine the investigation. As long as you could disguise the truth, you didn't care if we blamed you for her death. That's why you didn't bother to get rid of such obvious evidence, right? The footprints in the powder and the bottle of poison? Vital pieces of evidence, and yet...
So you're saying Hina consciously deceived us to make it look like she killed Sakura?
No! No, 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 no! I killed her! I did it!
That's enough, Hina. It's over.
It's not! Nothing's over!
It is.
It is. Actually, no. You're right. We have to end this properly.
Mm-hmm. Get the manga panels out, Monokuma. This one will be easy as hell. So, we've got all of these, right? And Yaku would have gone the nose well. Toku would have gone in, so she would have hidden the locker. Hiro would have grabbed the bottle. That's the knight right there. Then he would have wrote bloody murder. Ran the hell out. Hold on. Actually, no, wait. I think this should be here. And she would have came out. Saw the magazine and hid it. She would have gone up fainted in that. And she would have grabbed it, grabbing the one with the rook. Hold on, yeah, that's all right there. Making sure I'm getting this right. I'm making this thorough. Also, she ran away like a crazy woman. Clean up the mess, yeah.
Here's exactly what happened.
This looks like right.
This case began when Sakura asked a number of people to meet her in the rec room. Specifically, those people were Hiro, Toko, and Byakuya. But one of them headed out a bit earlier than the others. Toko. She got there one step ahead of everyone else and looked around for a good hiding spot.
Damn it! I was wrong. Okay, so it is the other way around. In that case, then, it is that, so... Yeah, so it would be this one.
The killer is you! But one of them headed out a bit earlier than the others. Toko. She got there one step ahead of everyone else and looked around for a good hiding spot.
There we go.
And she found it. She crawled into the locker to get out of sight. Then, from inside the locker, she saw Sakura enter the room. Next to arrive was Hiro. When he got there, he mistakenly thought Sakura was going to try to kill him, so he panicked.
Damn it! Again! Okay, so then it would have been the broken bit of glass then. Okay, then. So it would be not that, but this.
The killer is you! Without thinking, he grabbed a nearby Monokuma bottle and attacked Sakura with it. Thinking he'd killed her, he hastily began covering up his crime. He took a magazine from the table and forged a dying message from Sakura. To that end, he wrote down a name. Toko. By writing her name, he was hoping to pin the murder on her. But of course, Toko had witnessed the whole thing. So as soon as the coast was clear, she jumped out of the locker and hid the magazine on the shelf with all the others. But in her rush, she made one little mistake. She put the magazine back upside down. Soon after, she watched as Sakura slowly opened her eyes. She also saw the blood dripping off Sakura's head and fainted. This caused her personality to switch back over to Genocide Jack. When she woke back up, her second personality also saw the blood-soaked Sakura, and she freaked out. And just like Hiro, she grabbed another Monokuma bottle and attacked her. This explains why there were 2 wounds on Sakura's head. Assuming Sakura really was dead this time, she set about disposing of the evidence. She gathered up the broken Monokuma bottle shards and the queen chess piece. And that explains how Sakura was attacked twice with the same type of weapon. But even after those 2 blows, she was still alive. So then, what was Sakura's actual cause of death? It was the poison that Sakura herself got from the chem lab. She turned the rec room into a true locked room scenario, and then drank the deadly mixture. And there, she took her final breath. Later on, the rest of us discovered that her body was in there. We had to smash the door's window to get inside. But someone already knew what had happened, knew that she had committed suicide. And that same someone quietly snatched the bottle of poison from off the ground. And while nobody was looking, replaced it with an empty protein can. They did all this specifically to place all the suspicion on themselves, in an attempt to guide the trial to a false conclusion. And the one who went to all that effort was you, Hina. That's the
one
full
way
truth
to
of the
hide
case.
a that's just that is a lot as well.
Sakura took her own life. And you claim to be the killer to hide that fact. Isn't that right?
That's what happened?
Yep,
But, Makoto, how did you...
I'm clever than your average main character.
How did you manage to... How were you able to uncover the truth that even I couldn't discern?
Huh? Oh, well, I mean...
I am the ultimate lucky student.
You still haven't realized? We don't all act according to calculations and cost-benefit diagrams. That's what makes us so complicated.
Yeah, we're wild cards.
That's what you don't understand. And that's why you couldn't solve this case. See? Didn't I tell you? When you dismiss other people's feelings, it'll always come back to bite you in the end.
That it? Yeah, A, B, C, A, C, C, A, B, A. A! I got A's. 80, okay, that's good. 85.
Danganronpa.